Today on What Went Wrong, we talk about the shit you have to ask yourself before you even think about making a movie. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser with Not So Sane Entertainment, and I've made over 40 feature films, and they all have one thing in common. They had a budget that wouldn't allow craft services to operate for more than 10 minutes on a Hollywood film. I've made a lot of films, and along with them, a lot of mistakes. Now I'm here to help you avoid those mistakes. Today I want to talk about two very important questions that you have to ask yourself before starting to make a movie. If you answer these questions, they'll help guide you along the way through production. Answer these two important questions before you even set pen to paper, and you'll be able to have all the answers to all the decisions you'll have to make on your no-budget film as it moves forward. As I said, I've made a lot of movies. None of them came out the way I had hoped. And for the longest time, that was a cause of a lot of heartache. And that heartache came from unrealistic expectations. If I'd answered these questions right up front and approached them realistically, I would have saved myself a lot of unnecessary pain and anguish. Now, I've since learned to ask myself these questions before every movie. So I've been able to keep my expectations and the expectations of my cast and crew grounded in reality. So what are these questions? Well, the first one is, what is your goal? What do you want to do with your movie? Where do you want your movie to go? Why are you making the movie? Okay, I know that sounds like a bunch of questions, but the truth is you're asking yourself one important question. This movie you want to make, is the purpose of making it to make money, or is it just something to make for yourself? Whether it's just an artistic outlet or to try your hand at something new or to just start learning how to make movies. The reason this is important is because it's going to answer so many production questions for you. Right off the bat, if your goal is to make money, then stop right here, because this series is about making a movie with no money. And if you have no money to make a movie, then your movie isn't going to make money. Look, I know you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth, especially in today's day and age. In order to make something of a quality that people are going to be willing to pay you money to see, you're going to have a perfectly visual film, have actors people actually want to see. And your sound is going to have to be perfect. You can't cast your buddies in it, no matter how funny you think they are. No matter how hot you think your girlfriend is, I can promise you the majority of audiences won't agree with you. And when those bitter audiences hit the comment section of your YouTube posting, your girlfriend is going to hate you for casting her in your movie. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but I'm here to tell you what my years of experience has taught me. The most money we ever sold a film for was $18,000. And that was on a budget of $5,000 up front. Then we had to pay our actors their deferments, which amounted to about $9,000. Plus we had to fight the distributor for our money. And that cost attorneys. Then the distributor still charges extra fees for fixing the final version. In the end, we didn't make a dime. One of our first movies was our most profitable. We made it for less than $1,000 and sold it for $10,000. We were able to pay our actors their deferments, and my fellow producer and I had enough left over to pay 1 month's rent. And we were roommates at the time, so it was just one rent payment, not two. What I'm getting at is, if you want to make a movie with no money and you want to make money, it's probably not going to happen. Not because you're not talented, not because you can't make a great movie or tell a great story, but because audiences expect perfection. And if you can't offer that perfection, you're not going to get their money. So before you decide to make a movie, ask yourself, what's the point of making your movie? Why are you doing it? If you have the answer to that, then you can answer all other questions that pop up throughout production. When on set and your actor doesn't show up, but one of the extras wants to step in, you can remind yourself, nobody's going to pay money for this anyways, so I'll go ahead and cast it on the spot. If you're trying to make money, you'll have to stop production right there to find a new actor through casting calls. When you're in post-production and you're trying to drop in a dinosaur in one of your scenes, if you're doing it for yourself, you can pop over to a royalty-free footage site and pay $50 for a pre-made, pre-matted dinosaur graphic. Drop it in. But if you're trying to make money, then you're going to have to pay the thousands of dollars it costs to get good CGI to fit in your scene and make it look really good.
I just saw a pinche dinosaur.
The second question you have to ask yourself is, who is your audience? Now, this is a question you should be asking yourself when you're making or doing or writing anything for public consumption. If you're preparing for a speech, you need to ask yourself, who is your audience? Are you addressing a room full of economists with master's degrees, or are you talking to a bunch of second graders on Parents' Day? You're going to write your presentation a lot differently, aren't you? Just like your everyday conversations. You're going to talk a lot differently to your boss or your parents than you would talk to your lifelong best friend or your dog. The same is for film. Who are you making your film for? Again, it's perfectly fine if it's just for you. It's a movie you want to see, but odds are no one else wants to see it. If you want as many people as possible to see your movie, then you have to keep it general, which also means keep politics out of it. The country is split. Hell, the country's always been split, almost right down the middle. But let's look at the numbers. You want to make an SJW film that is anti-male, then guess what? You just alienated half your audience. Anti-female, there's another half of your potential viewers gone. I'm not saying you can't get your ideas and beliefs into your films, but make it a theme or hide it in subtext. Here's an idea. If you're going on a rant about an unpopular idea, have your villain say it. Not only will you be able to hide the unpopular opinion by having the bad guy say it, but it'll also give the bad guy motivation. It'll make him a more well-rounded character that the audience can understand.
This project is key to a lot of people making a lot of money, which you would say is evil and rife with corruption. But in fact, is the same money that puts food on your table and food on your grandkids' table and allows your ailing daughter to have health insurance and pays for your son's expensive cars.
They may not agree with it, but they'll understand the character better. Think about Thanos in Infinity War. He was such a great villain because he had a reason for believing what he did. It was a stupid idea and doesn't abide by basic economics and has been proven to be a false premise. But we understand his motivations, and it made him a better villain than all the other ones in the Marvel Universe. Sci-fi films and westerns are infamous for this. Star Trek was a show that did this on almost every episode, hiding current political and sociological issues within their shows by masquerading them as the problems experienced by alien cultures. So pick your audience ahead of time. Don't make a steampunk movie when 9/10 of the world don't even know what steampunk is. Or make it for just the steampunk crowd and go all in with it. But knowing who your audience is will help you decide your budget, the types of actors and actresses you want to put in it, how good or bad the production value can be. Again, if you want your movie to make money, you're going to have to play by a lot more rules than a film with no money has to play by. But don't worry, we'll be doing an episode soon talking about what you need to do if you want your film to make money. So, before making a film, ask yourself these two questions. What is the goal of the film? And who is your audience? This is going to save you a lot of heartache, and it's going to draw a line for you. If you go into this movie knowing that you're making the movie for you and your friends, or for a very small select audience, then you can't expect it to make any money. Then you have no right bitching and moaning that your movie didn't go anywhere, because you made the decision to make that movie for you and your buddies, and not a commercially viable film. So, if you made that movie about a serial killing bunny with no money, with no nudity, and with only one bottle of strawberry syrup for all your gore, then you have no right to complain when it doesn't make any money. But there's an upside to that. When you go into your movie with realistic expectations, you know that A, you're not going to make money, so you know every dime you put into it is lost in the sands of time. And B, you're not going to be disappointed when it doesn't go anywhere, because you went into it just wanting the experience or the knowledge. And guess what? You got exactly what you wanted. Now, a lot of people won't tell you this because they don't want you to come back to them a year later and say, see, I made a movie for $50 and I sold it to a major Hollywood distributor. Then they look like an ass. Is that outside the realm of possibility? No. It could happen, and I hope it does. But if I go to Vegas and I have to drop $1,000 on a bet with the same odds of your no-budget movie making any money, well, I'm not taking that bet. And if that 1 in a million shot does come up, and I'm misplacing that bet, I'm not going to be mad because I knew where the smart money was. Does that mean I think you shouldn't make a movie? Hell no. I want you to go out and make that movie, because no matter what happens with it, you will get something out of it. Maybe you'll meet your future wife. Maybe you'll make a friend that will last you the rest of your life. I guarantee you'll learn something, and I can doubly promise you that your next film will be even better. And yeah, maybe, just maybe, you might make a few bucks on it. If you don't blow more money on making it than what you can sell it for, which will be the topic of our next video. So until then, keep shooting, keep editing, and keep making movies.